Hi there, this is the RPS project. I'm Richard, and today this is part 2 of my upgrade of my computer, putting the M.2 NVMe drive in. This time it's the clone. I'm actually going to clone over my old drive onto the NVMe drive and, well, see what happens. So now I've actually put the box back in its place. I need to just turn on my monitor and hit the go button, and I'm immediately going to try and go into the BIOS. Well, the machine's come on. I think it's F2. Come on, F2. I think it's going to go. Yeah, there we go. Marvellous. So I suppose what I have to do is come out of this and see if it boots up, which it should do because it's going to boot up from its normal drive. Haven't done anything. So let's just see what happens. Basically just make sure that it turns on, you know, after I've given it a bit of a fiddle around. So and thinking about it. Ooh, that's not so good. No, that's oh, my graphics card is not liking that. Something's happened. I know I had to give it a clean, a bit of a blow off, but I didn't do much else to it, so that is not good. So I've got my system up and running again. Had a bit of a glitch with the graphics card. It gave me a green screen. It just wasn't seated properly. Half an hour of fiddling around and taking it out and putting it back in a few times resulted in a good output from the graphics card. A bit annoying. I was slightly worried that I'd managed to kill it, but yeah, it touch wood, seems to be working. So now I need to get a software for cloning my drive, my main drive, which is going to be Macrium's software, Macrium Reflect 7. But before I do that, let me just go and do one that way. I want it that way. Disk Manager. Let's have a quick look there. Now I'll cancel that because I don't want to initialize the drive at the moment. But there it is. That's my 250 gigabyte NVMe drive, which is what I'm going to clone this drive to this drive. That's my storage drive. That's going to stay there as it is. Right, so Macrium Reflect. So now first thing is going to be downloading this. So home use, free edition. Please enter an email to register or download. Optional. No, I don't want to put that in. Right, okay. Save file. And then close that. And then we open the file and see what this is doing for me. So this is free edition. I'm going to shove it into my user downloads. Run installer directly after downloading. Okay, yeah. I don't think I want to change anything else. And it's just downloading. And then hopefully this will be the main installer software, and then it will install from there. Doesn't take too long, does it? Flying along. Click yes. Log. I don't know what that means, but anyway, click next to extract the setup files. Begin installing Reflect. Next. I think what I'll do is I'll just bar that because I don't need it up there. I agree. Next. Now home, and then I'm going to click on the next button. Register. I don't want to register. Leave it on the default. Install desktop shortcut. Okay, yeah, don't mind that. and click click install to begin the installation. If you want to review the changes or any of your installation settings, click back. Well, now let's go for it and get it installed, eh? Seems to be working quite quick. That was quick. Do I want to launch it now? Not just at the moment. And click finish. Well, that was painless, wasn't it? That was really quick. So I've now got macro and reflect on my computer. Obviously, if I'm going to be doing a clone, I won't be able to have the on-screen capture, so I'll have to turn that software off when I do the actual clone. But let's just open this and have a quick look at what it's given me. And there you go. It's telling me I've got 2 drives, which is my main drive, which is my C drive, and then this is my second drive, which is my S drive, which I am not going to be cloning. That's just going to stay as it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this drive and put it onto this one, this Western Digital 250 gig. But before I can do that, I will have to turn off this screen capture. Okay, so I've now got macro and reflect open, and I'm going to copy this drive, which is my main drive. It's my Western Digital green. It is an SSD, it's 120 gigabytes, and I want to put it onto this, my Western Digital black 250 gigabyte NVMe drive. So I've got here clone disk, which is what I'm going to do. So yeah, let's click clone disk, and it's already chosen that one there, the first one. Now yeah, I want to clone all the sections. I want to clone the whole lot onto my new drive. So select a disk to clone. If you select a different disk, your current operations will be discarded. Okay. No, I want it to be that one, which you can see is my disk 3 Western Digital 250 gig. Certainly don't want it on the other one. I don't want to lose all my stuff on my 1 terabyte drive. So we're going from this Western Digital to the Western 120 to the Western Digital 250. So if I click next, I suppose copy selected partitions. When I click next. Don't want to schedule anything. Now the thing with this is that I want this to fill the partition. So what I need to do is I need to somehow fill this up so I don't end up with this section here, because I don't want to lose that. So how am I going to, I want to clone partition properties. Let's have a look at that. So I see I can now move this and make it much larger. Let me just cancel that and have a look at this, because I've got this section which is my recovery, this part which is a FAT32 file, which is only 16 megabytes. This is 20, sorry, that's 23 megabytes. Oh, I see. These are the megabytes. So these are the minor partitions for your backup and recovery and stuff. Then this one is my main drive, part 4, NTFS primary, and that section there is only filling that much up, but I want it to fill the whole drive. So if we go to here, NTFS 4, I can drag that all the way up so it fills the whole drive. So I'm cloning the whole drive over and filling up the filling up the main drive. There we go, filled it all up, so I get a full drive rather than losing and ended up with a second partition on that drive, which is not what I want. So there we go. So click next. Don't want to schedule anything. This gives me a rundown, recovery, no name, the other sections of it, and see. So what we'll do now is click finish. And it says here, run this as a backup now, but I don't want to save that, don't need to. Okay, and it's going to start creating the clone, so hopefully it shouldn't take too long, but it will be slightly long, I expect, because it's always going to be a long-winded process. So let's just let it run, do its thing. And there we go, all done in only 9 minutes and 12 seconds. That was really good, actually. I was expecting it to take longer. So I can now close that. And as you can see, I've got disk 1, 120 gigs, disk 2, which is my storage, which is Seagate, I think, 1 terabyte, and this one, disk 3, which is my Western Digital, 250 gigabyte. So now I can close this, and there you see, disk I, it's called it. Okay, go with disk I, and it's a complete, exact boot copy of that disk C. So marvellous. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close that. Actually, I'm going to just open up Disk Manager, let it do its thing. Let me just come back. There we go. And now you can see that this disk 2 is an exact copy of disk 1, only it's a bigger drive and should be faster because it's a NVMe drive. So what I'll need to do now is go back into the BIOS and make sure that it changes over to the other drive. So if I do restart and get ready with the getting into the BIOS, F2. Are we in there? I think we are. Yeah, there we go. Marvellous. Now I need to tell this thing to boot from the other drive. So into advanced settings, boot menu. Now, there we go, Western Digital 250, and that's what we want. In device 2, yeah, it doesn't, what's this thing doing? I don't want it from there, I want it. Boot 1, I want that to be there. Boot 2, it says it's going to try the 120 gigabyte hard drive, which I don't really want. And then it's got the boot 3. Let's just disable some of this. I've got all these boot things in here disabled. I want it to be specifically Windows Boot Manager 250 gig. There. So we're going to force it into booting from just one drive on this occasion. Now I actually might put boot 2 as being the DVD drive, just in case, eh? So let's exit. Well, let's just see what that does, eh? Well, it's loading something. Oh, there's me load screen. Now that has actually come on, but it's a case of which drive am I using? Let it finish doing its thing like it normally does. And now we're going to have a look at, just go into here I suppose, see drive C, this PC. There you go, look, drive C is now a 223 gigabyte, whereas drive E is 120 gigabyte. So that is my Western Digital Green, whereas this is my NVMe drive. It does seem to have copied it across and have booted from that new drive. But I'm not going to clear out my old drive yet. I'm going to leave it for a while and make sure that this boots properly, you know, several times, and that there isn't any issue with it booting, and see how that goes. But what I am going to do, I suppose, is now going to be a speed test to see how quick it will run. So here we have my speed test. I used Crystal Disk 6 and started with the hard disk drive. And as you can see, the hard disk drive did a nice job. It uses the SATA 3 connection onto my motherboard, but, well, you know, it does what it does. 198 read, 190 write. It's not bad. It's good for hard disk drive for what they do, but it's not brilliant. Anyway, here comes the SSD. Solid state drive using the SATA 3 connection again. But as you can see, the performance is miles better. You've got more than double the read speed. Okay, the write speed isn't a great deal, but then you look at the other tests that are on there, and the speed performance is just so much more better. SSD, if you can afford one, get one. It's a miles better than having a hard disk drive. Use a hard disk drive as a big backup. Next up, NVMe. And there you see it. Well, it's just so much more performance. Miles better. I mean, it's more than double on than the SSD with a SATA drive, because the M.2 NVMe is plugged straight into the PCI Express lane. So, and comparing it to the hard disk drive, well, there's no comparison really, is there? I mean, if you want a hard disk drive, use it as a mass storage device for just dumping all your files on, like, you know, pictures, images, video, blogs and whatnot. But if you want to use a drive for your everyday usage, such as, you know, having your main Windows on there or whatever OS you're using, get an NVMe. Even compared to the SATA, to the SSD on SATA 3, it's still a lot better. So there you go, speed test using Crystal Disk 6. Marvellous. So there you have it. My upgrade is done. I've taken my 120 gigabyte Western Digital Green SSD using SATA 3, and I now have my Western Digital Black 220 gig, this one, isn't it? Does it say? Yeah, 250 gig M.2 NVMe drive in there. I've cloned it over using Macro and Reflect. I even gave it a bit of an upgrade on the cooler, and it all seems to be working fine. You know, taking a bit of tinkering around to get it just right, but it does seem to be doing what I want it to. And as you saw from the speed test, well, there's no competition really, is there? Putting in an NVMe drive just boosts performance massively, even though I may not really see the performance necessarily when I'm doing day-to-day stuff or video editing or doing stuff with pictures or anything that I might be using my computer for, but it is significantly faster than a hard disk drive. That is just old technology really. I mean, I'm surprised it's still being used, but it is still useful, especially for mass storage. You know, if you've got a load of pictures and videos and images and music, then the hard disk drive is great because they are exceptionally cheap for a lot of storage. So yeah, I still think the hard disk drive has got a use. SSD with SATA is still useful, but I would like to see most computers move over to NVMe drives because the performance boost is just so much better, as long as the cost of it keeps coming down, which it is, because as I said previously, that cost me 60, right around 60, what, 62, 63 pound. This cost me 60 pound in UK money, and yet the difference is miles apart. So, you know, get an upgrade if you can. Anyway, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. But there you go. All comments are welcome. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time.